Okay, so there's a lot of ways to set up a trigger for a Dho-gazza net. Common ways, a lot of people will put, just regular paper clips on the corner and on the bottom. Have tabs on the net, so when the Merlin hits the net, the entire net breaks away. The problem with that is you get a lot of tangle. The net's hard to get untangled. You got to get the net off of the Merlin. A lot of times you end up just cutting the net. It's pretty tough. Another way I've used for years, the rings. So you have rings on the corners of the net. You have a clothesline pin here with a little piece of mono. And then when it hits the net, the rings collapse, but they stay on the pole, so it keeps the net on the pole. That system works great, except if you're trying to catch peregrines or larger birds, it provides too much resistance on the net, and it has a tendency to break through the net more easily. So I just want to quickly show you kind of the system that I've gone to on all of my Dho-gazzas. I've been using this on my beach sets for quite a few years now, and I just recently built this portable set that uses the same release system, but I'll use this small one just to kind of show you how it works. But basically, the net is held onto the poles with a running line, so there's a line that goes around. So this net is not actually attached to the pole, but there's two lines that go in a circle. So this line here, it goes all the way around the bottom, through the eye, up the other side, through the top eye, and then back down in here. And then the line is doubled and goes onto the spool. So there's probably 50 feet of doubled line that goes all the way onto this spool. And it's rolled up on the spool. And then to keep the spool from turning, I've got little holes drilled all around the perimeter. So once I determine, kind of where this net is tight at, I've got a little piece of monofilament here, and it just goes through the hole, and it's what keeps this thing from spinning. So you pop your monofilament in this little hole, and then you pull it back to the clothespin, and that's your trigger. So what happens is, when the Merlin hits the net, it pulls this line out and the spool just unspins. And you'll notice I have a leather washer here, and that's because when I first started doing this, I didn't use it, and the spool would just free spin and create a big tangled mess here sometimes. So I added a leather washer so I can actually adjust the tightness using a nylon lock nut, and so I can put a little bit of resistance against this, which is really handy, especially when you're trapping peregrines or larger birds. So basically, this net, it allows very little resistance. So basically, when a bird comes in from this direction and it hits the net, your clothesline pops off and the entire net comes away and catches the bird. Now, the nice thing about this is the net doesn't come off the pole. You get your bird out, and then really to put this net back up, it's super simple. All you have to do is just spin your spool. So you just turn the spool, and the whole net just tightens up, and there you go. You're ready to catch the next bird. Stick your monofilament piece in. Pull it in, stick it here. The nice thing I like about this set is, one thing you'll notice if you use it is you can pull the net very tight. The net comes super tight, so you get very little net movement. The birds can't see the net at all because it's not moving. Also, it just keeps it nice and tight, so when the bird hits it, it immediately triggers it, and it just kind of purses the bird up, wraps it up, untangle the bird, tighten it, and you're ready to trap again.